Good morning, welcome back. It is Monday, start of the work week. Everybody's got to go back to work, back to school. Let's let out that big collective sigh. Know how that goes. But anyway, to hopefully get you through your work day, at least maybe 10 minutes worth of your work day or your school day, got 20 random NASCAR hero cards that we will show you. Pick these up in a deal on Facebook back in August. And just looking at this, I thought this stack was getting smaller. It seems like it's not going to end, but as I go through it, obviously it is getting smaller, and it looks like there's about 70, 80 more cards, so we'll have at least 2, 3, 4 more weeks of these, and I'm looking forward to it as I sort through it. There's some really cool ones, and I'm going to save those for the last video, because I think that's the best way to do it. But we're going to start off with the Xfinity Series. This is I think this might have been last year or the year before. I'm not seeing a year on it. But he finished second place with this car. Jeffrey Earnhardt driving for RCR with Larry McReynolds as the crew chief. Don't know why we're not focusing real well there, but there you go. We're going to go to 2002 in the Craftsman Truck Series. Carlos Contreras. I believe this was a Petty truck. It's got the right branding for it. The numbers, the Hot Wheels, the Dodge connection. We're going to stay in the truck series. And this is 1995, so this is the inaugural series. We have Mike Chase. And I believe that was a Jim Venable owned truck. Mike Chase with that 90s mustache going on. I don't know who we can compare that with. This one's not NASCAR, but still pretty cool. Monk Tate. And I can't tell you what series that's from, because it looks like an older modified car from back in the day, but there you see the name Monk Tate. And we're going to keep it in the Busch series for 2000. And I vaguely remember this. This was Team Renzi, but Kenny Wallace and Andy Santerre teamed up with Lance Snacks. And Andy Santerre was a great Busch North driver. I think he got hurt at Daytona one year. He just didn't do well on the speedways, but he was a great driver on the short tracks. Up next, let's see what year we got here. It looks like 2006, perhaps. Jack Sprague for Weiler Racing, number 60 truck. He had some pretty decent success in that truck. 1995, I remember getting one of these in person and getting it signed. Kenny Schrader got it signed at one of the local Chevrolet dealerships. I can't remember which one it was, but it was a couple of weeks after he had his flip at Talladega. His eyes were still pretty beat up, and if you ever meet Kenny in person, I can't remember which hand it is, but he's missing part of the top of his thumb, and that was done during a Craftsman Truck Series race in 95 during practice when he was working on the engine when it was running. So you have to look for interviews on that. There's interviews where he talks about that incident. 2003 Cup Series, Rusty Wallace, Blue Deuce, nearing the end of his career. He had a couple more years after that. 1995. This is 95. This is kind of a cool one. It's Kyle Petty, Coors Light Racing, Felix Sabates, but it's perforated here, and it looks like you can make this into a stand-up of Kyle Petty. So they're always doing different things back in the day. 1996, Lake Speed, Melling Racing with the spam can, as they called it. And it's always interesting because they have the 800 numbers and stuff on here, but I'm looking, yeah, they do have the website, so they still had you type in the http:// that whole thing. Now you just go to your browser, type in your website, then whatever your org, country, whatever. 2000, Mike Skinner with the Lowe's team. There's Richard Childress, Larry Mack, David Smith. I was doing a little research the other day. Mike Skinner has the most career laps led without ever having a win in the Cup Series. He has just slightly over 1,000 laps led. And it definitely wasn't from a lack of effort. A lot of times it's just some bad luck. Then this next one from 2023, Brad K, King's Hawaiian. Really like that car, but I think I like the King's Hawaiian rolls a little bit more. We have a blank back here of Austin Cindric. And it says rookie down here, so this is obviously from the start of, well, it's a Busch Series car. So I'm not sure what year that would be from. Probably 2018, 2019, thereabouts. We have another Xfinity Series. I said Busch Series. Whatever series it is. 2022, Joe Gibbs Racing, Brandon Jones Xfinity Series. Brandon had some good success over there. Picked up, I believe, 5 wins total in a few years. Go to the Busch Series. It's going to be 1996. Randy LaJoie, when he was the 1995 Series champ. Of course, he'd go on to win that title in 1996. We have Truck Series coming up here. Where are we going? What year is this? I'm going to say this is right around 2000, 2001. Mike Wallace. This is the Jimmy Smith-owned truck. Timmy Cahuth. Timmy was a crew chief for Kenny Schrader a long time in the Busch Series. Let's see who else. Eddie Thrapp. I've heard that name before. Jason Overstreet. I've heard that name several times. Matt Pusha. He was Matt Kinse's crew chief for a while, I believe. So there's Tim Brewer. He should get in the Hall of Fame sometime. There's your owners, Jim and Marlene Smith. So kind of interesting to see all the names that have graduated up. Then we go back to 1995 Cup Series. Todd Bodine. Factory Stores of America. If you're not familiar with those, they were... If you ever go to like Gatlinburg or Branson, Missouri, or any of these touristy areas, and they have those Tanger or Tanger outlets, that's what this is like. Factory Stores was an outlet mall, kind of the birth of the outdoor malls, where you'd have a whole strip of stores that were specific to these malls, and prices would be slightly discounted from what you'd see in a mall or in a retailer, because it was supposed to be factory direct. But we seen them a couple times when we were in the South during this era, but never did stop at one. But the Tanger outlets and other outlet malls, very similar, which they're all right. There you see Todd Bodine with Troy Selberg and Butch Mock. Troy was recently on the Scene Vault podcast, three-part episode. Go listen to that one. It was a very, very good listen. Got some very good quotes over there. And got some good stories. Always like listening to those the unsung guys that you don't hear a lot of praise about. Go back to the Busch Series, 1997. Terry Labonte. He ran the Bear and Alka-Seltzer paint schemes. Staying in the Busch Series for 1996. This was a short-lived match. Dennis Setzer with Aiken Sutton Motorsports. On paper, this car probably should have won. This combination should have won the title. But like a lot of combinations, it just did not pan out. Dennis was released. Their old driver, Elton Sawyer, stepped back into the car. And Elton pretty much ended his career with that team in the early 2000s. And our final card here is from... It's got to be from about, 1997. Jimmy Spencer, Smokin' Joe's Racing, Camel Cigarettes. So you got Jimmy on the top, Travis Carter there, the car owner, and Donnie Wingo. So definitely, that was a pretty strong combination, but again, bad luck really just kept them out of victory lane. They were, if you had a combination like that in the early 90s till the... if they would have came in the mid-2000s with that group in their prime like they were there, I think they could have won a couple races, but the mid-90s was such a competitive period of time, and it was really, really hard for them to, they weren't at the top of the Ford pecking order, so to speak, because you had teams above them. You had Penske, you had Roush, you had, there's 2 or 3 other Ford teams in there between them, so they were kind of almost, I don't want to say a third-tier Ford team, but they did really good for what they had. So anyway, that has been our 20 random NASCAR hero cards for this Monday mailbag. Hope you appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed it. I appreciate doing it for you. So anyway, thanks again for watching. Make sure you come back at noon for Fast Packs. We'll be ripping a 1991 pack of Pro Set racing cards. So thanks again for watching. Really, really do appreciate it, and we will see you later.